The Montreal Canadiens have had a fascination with French goaltenders forever. But in the 90s into the 2000s, there was quite a few French goalies or Francophone goalies that played with the squad but didn't stay. You got J.C. Bergeron, Olivier Michaud, and this guy who actually was on the Montreal's radar for more than a decade and played with them over 3 seasons, a decade apart. So we're going to talk about the curious case of Frederic Chabot. Now, Frederic Chabot, one of another great prospect from the great community of Herbertville, Quebec. He was 5'11 and 170. He originally came to prominence as a draft pick for the New Jersey Devils in the 10th round, 192nd overall. Now, he had some strong years with Drummondville. Actually, he put up 58 wins for the team over 2 seasons, 87, 88. Then found himself with the Booth Shaw Warriors and the Prince Albert Raiders in the WHL in 1989. Now, he turned pro with the Fort Wayne Comets in 1990, but eventually became part of the Montreal Canadiens program in 1990, where he played a couple of games in Sherbrooke. He finally made the Habs in 91, where he played 3 games with a 3.33 average, and he had 35 starts in Frankton. Now, in 92, he split time with Winston in Frankton and was called back to the Habs in 93 for 1 game, and also had a strong season in Frankton with 22 wins that year. 94, he found himself with 3 teams in the minors yet again. Actually played for 5 teams that year. Las Vegas in the IHL, Frankton and Hershey of the AHL. He played 1 game in Montreal and also found himself with the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, 93-94 was a very significant year for Frederic because he also won best goalie in the AHL that year. Now, his numbers with Hershey were just tremendous, 13, 5, and 6 over 28 contests. Now, 95, he found himself back in the minors with the Cincinnati Cyclones, 96 as well with Cincinnati. He won the Turner Cup with the Arrows in the IHL, where he played, ladies and gentlemen, get this, 72 games that year. He's very durable, Frederic, when given a chance. 98, he found himself with the Arrows yet again, but he got a call up to the Kings, where he posted a 3.41 average in 12 starts. Now, 99 was a very interesting year again, because Montreal brought him back in the fold for 11 games, where he had a 1-3 record with a very, very impressive 2.23 average. But see, Montreal at the time was kind of looking at different options of backup. Now, this was the second go around with Montreal after the early starts in the 90s, and a lot of people in the Quebec media were quite shocked he got back to the NHL, because we figured he was going to be an IHL or AHL long-time star. And that's what happened. 2000, 2001, he found himself back in the IHL, put up some impressive numbers, actually played 109 games over 2 seasons. Then he went to Europe for 3 seasons in Germany for Nuremberg. Then he moved over to the Austrian League and Vienna and wrapped up his pro career with the Mannheim Eagles in 2006. But this is where his connection with the NHL got expanded. Now, because he was one of only 2 players in history were selected as part of expansion drafts, of course the other being Darren Pupa, he had high recognition with the other teams in the league. And on July 6, 2009, Chabot was named a goaltending consultant for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, goaltending consultant is not the same as goalie coach, but he eventually became the goalie coach for Edmonton in the 2010 season, a job that lasted until 2015. Now, in that 2014-15 season, he was relieved in his duties and was taken over by Dustin Schwartz. Then the Minnesota Wild brought him in as their goaltending development coach, where he was officially the goalie coach. Now, Chabot's style was pretty effective. He wasn't the greatest player with angles, but if you're gonna have a pro career that lasted 2 decades, you got to be talented, because you look at the the parts of multiple seasons with Montreal, the good numbers they put up with LA. I think if there was another expansion team coming into NHL in that era, he probably would have got backup. But I mean, pretty impressive. 20 pro seasons. That's pretty cool. And as we like to say, those Q and WHL players are not scared to take the cage for multiple games. But what really stands out for me, ladies and gentlemen, again, the Arrows, which my good buddy Corey LaRose also played, our Campbellton skater. That 72 games in 97 with a 2.53 average. That's tremendous. And he didn't have the greatest team in the world. He only won 39, 26, and 7 that year. And he also played 13 games in the playoffs. So pretty impressive. 85 games. That's a goalie, ladies and gentlemen. That's a goalie. So that's the curious case of Frederic Chabot. Please give me a like, comment, or subscribe. Requests are more than welcome. And the thing about why I do these borderline players is that they do have a lot of fans because if a lot of them had multiple years in the minor pros, they're a folk hero to the people, again, from Houston, Cincinnati, the European leagues, Las Vegas before the NHL squad came in. So anyway, Quebec goalies, you could write millions of books on them. How they didn't succeed from Patrick Roy all the way down. And Frederic Chabot, to me, has my respect because to play as many years he did, he must have been good. And he was good. And still is as a coach. Have a good day.